My name is David Lukens. I am the CEO and president of Grace Harbor Farms. Been involved with this from the very beginning, and it's been about 17 years total now. For us, it's literally from the grass all the way to this customer's hands. We farm the cows, the creamery, the deliveries, all that's done by us, so we have complete, utter control of the process. I feel like utter control is, there's a pun in there somewhere.
My name is Grace Lukens, and I'm one of the founders of Grace Harbor Farms. My husband Tim and I started this business. We can trace it back to 1999, actually, because in 1999, as some of you who are old enough to remember, we were getting ready for Y2K, and some of us goofy families really thought that we needed to do that, and we were one of them. So we had the gardens, we had the water supply, we had all this stuff, and at one point I said to Tim, I think we should get a couple of goats for the dairy products. And I started by milking goats to give us milk to drink. My sister suggested that I could make goat milk soap out of it and sell it at the farmer's market. So we started making soap, but really didn't consider it a business at the time. We had 3 other little businesses, and we ended up in dairy farming and goats of all things. The way the goat herd increases is pretty natural. You don't necessarily have to go out and buy some more goats, because if you want to keep milking your goats, you need to get them bred every year. Then they have kids, and each goat has 2 kids. So you end up pretty quickly having the herd grow. We didn't need anywhere near the amount of milk that we were producing to make soap. It just didn't take that much for what we were selling in soap and lotion. That's when we decided we needed to either get rid of some goats or make cheese.
My traditional way of handling that was to say, no, I don't want to make cheese. But they didn't go away. After about a year and people came back and said, please make cheese, we kind of went, well, my goodness, maybe there's actually something here we can do to serve customers. They obviously want it. So then we went ahead and made the decision and put together the business structure to make cheese. That's when we became a grade A dairy.
First experience with Grace Harbor Farms was a goat farm. We were still kind of a hobby farm, and it was building out an old 1-car, basically a shack, you can't even call it a garage, into a grade A milking parlor. At the time, I had no idea that someday I'd be running a dairy and a family business.
We were selling it through the community food co-op in Bellingham, and the dairy buyer in the Bellingham Community Food Co-op said, you're making cheese, and why don't you bottle goat's milk? So we started bottling goat milk.
The next significant step was when we moved from the original property to where our creamery exists currently. And we basically started building out a milking parlor all over again, and it started to click with me. You know, we're expanding, we're growing, there's a future in this little goat dairy.
And when we started the yogurt business in 2009, we started the business because we wanted to give the next generation, specifically my son David, a business to transition to if he wanted to take it, and he did.
I just so happened to meet this cute girl and get to know her, and she was awesome, and then I met the family, and just so happened they were dairy farmers, and you know, I really didn't have any interest at that point yet to go back to the farm.
There's certainly been pleasant surprises along the way. One of them was when David made the decision that he wanted to come back to the farm.
So it took a few years for that all to develop, and me working away from the farm to appreciate it and to see the products that my dad and Grace did develop and the potential that they have.
After he had been gone for a couple of years and working somewhere else, and he wanted to come back so that he could have a business to take over, and one of the things that he said to us was, I want to give you and Dad a retirement someday.
It was a natural progression to kind of pass the baton and keep growing those relationships.
And that was a very pleasant surprise to hear that from him. I hadn't really thought about retirement, hadn't thought about slowing down or the fact that that part's going to change too. But David was already thinking about it.
Today looks pretty good for Grace Harbor Farms. Through the last few years, we've put the foundation of a really strong business together. Products are good. Customers like what we produce. We have great family, we have farmland, we have cows, we have a great team of people at the farm, at the creamery, as delivery drivers. So for me today, Grace Harbor Farms looks like it's got a bright future, and I'm really excited to grow all through Washington and keep on growing, hopefully beyond there.
The legacy that I would like to go, that I want to see this happen, is that's where it started. It's an attitude of service. We're just simply here to manage it and steward it.
You know, God was faithful. Regardless of where the products go in terms of what's going to be produced and how big the business gets, to my limited understanding, God was faithful.
The brand legacy of Grace Harbor Farms, I want people to know that it encapsulates family, it encapsulates giving back to the community, it encapsulates extremely high quality products.